Hey, Gary here. Welcome to Book Mob episode 43. Before I go on, I just want to say if you hear me slurring words, it's not because I'm drunk. It's because I caught Bell's palsy. And I think you can see even when I'm talking here, this is about 13, 14 days into it. So there has been a lot of improvement with my talking, my eye fluttering. And I think even though my face is still, like if I open my mouth, you can see, yeah, not good. And that apparently could take up to 6 to a year to restore itself. So, but I'm very thankful that the Bell's palsy has improved a great deal since I first started, because now I can actually close my eyes, whereas this time last week, that was an impossibility. Anyway, let's get back to the episode. So today's episode, I've picked 5 new books that are coming out or already have been released in August of 2024. Now, the reason I picked these books is because I'm encouraging people to read, particularly people who don't read that much. So they need something inspiring. They need something that grabs them and allows them the time to give up, discipline the time in order to read and finish a book. Remember, it's all about storytelling, and I think that reading is something that is still very, very special. And if you can find the book that attracts you, you will obviously understand, I'll read another one. I'll take another chance. With all the competing media reading amongst non-readers, and when I say non-readers, I don't mean people who can't read. I mean people who have given up on the pastime and enjoyment and pleasure you get from reading. So today, these are the 5 books coming out by August 31st of 2024. And the first one I've picked is By Any Other Name, and that's by Jodi Picoult. Now, Jodi Picoult has written, she's a prolific, what is the word? Prolific writer. And she has, I've read a number of her books. She kind of writes about very intense family dramas, where she, like the one about organ donation, and they're tragedies, and there's somewhat of a sense of reality in the books. However, she does tell a story, and as we know, stories are nothing like life. So there is elements in the stories that will grasp you because they are fantasy, they are beyond the norm. However, her stories are generally stuck in the groove of reality. How in this book, Jodi has taken two women centuries apart, so I think, I don't know, maybe 500 years or something, I can't remember. And the older writer is the actual true author of Shakespeare's plays. Hey, we've been here before. Sometimes it's taking an idea and saying, because Shakespeare's is always, for some reason in the postmodern world, has basically been saying, he never wrote them, this person wrote them, this person wrote them. But it doesn't matter. The plays exist. Let's move on. But in this book, she wants to, intertwine the two narratives of the past and the present. And so basically it's about women forcing themselves onto the stage of life and the arts and culture. And it's an enjoyable read. It's not my number one for August, but I must admit, like I said, Jodi Picoult, she knows how to write very, very structured, real-based stories. So that's for number 1. Now the second one again is Shakespearean in history, Shakespearean in style. Sorry, and this one is Lady Macbeth, a novel. And that's written by Reid. So this is a telling of Lady Macbeth in a novel form about, because in the play, Lady Macbeth sort of comes into the play. She plays a role, she's kind of, Shakespeare makes her out to be sort of crazy, and then she dies, and and she disappears. But obviously, Reid has decided to reimagine Lady Macbeth as a more central character. So again, good story, historical Shakespearean link, but at the same time, not my number 1 favourite again, but I must admit, I like when they reimagine stories from, doesn't matter whose perspective. I think that's a great way to go for storytelling. All right, the third one is, now this is the one that I picked number one, is Worst Case Scenario by T.J. Newman. Now, this is only going to be released in Australia in, I think, at the end of the month, 31st of August. Now, I've read Falling by T.J. Newman. I've read Drowning by T.J. Newman, and I'm looking forward to getting through Worst Case Scenario about a plane that crashes into a nuclear power plant, and, God, whatever happens after that. The thing about T.J. Newman is she's writing for an audience that want to be entertained, want to be sucked into the book, want to have page turner, and she does it so well. I mean, I know from a brief reading of her history that T.J. Newman was a what do they call them? Air attendant for many years, and she wrote her first book, Falling, whilst working for the airlines. Now, you could say, oh, this story's been told before, but it's just the way she does it. She's almost, T.J. Newman is kind of linked into this sort of precise disaster genre, but she does so well. You really feel the characters. When you read it, you want to know what happens. And I think for a total non-reader, those three books alone would, if you've got a dad and you want Father's Day gift, buy all three of T.J. Newman's books, and I'm sure your father, your uncle, your brother will love them. They're great books and full of fun, very entertaining, very enjoyable. And I'm sure, I don't know, but I think they're going to make a movie of one of them, and I'm sure they will. I don't know how she can go past three and produce another one, but who knows? There's one thing I've understood from reading and watching the culture just sway back and forth, is that you can never guess. No one can say what is going to be the next big hit, because T.J. Newman took her book to about 36 publishers, and they said, no one's going to read it, and then bang, she sends it to one, and look what's now. She's got a third book coming out around the same topic, a plane, a crash, a tragedy, a disaster, and how it all unfolds. And again, it's a simple story. And this is my number one pick for August for sure. And I'm looking forward to getting through Worst Case Scenario. Now we've got from Japanese writer Yoko Ogawa, Mina's Matchbox. And she's a writer. I read her last book was The Memory Police, which is a very interesting story. It's sort of it's not sci-fi in a way, but she really delves into memory. How smells can trigger a memory, how a photograph, you haven't seen something for 20 years, and you pick up and you go, oh, I remember, and suddenly you've got a school friend that you haven't thought about for 35 years, and then suddenly, I wonder what, Joe Schmo's doing now. And that's what she does. She presents memory, and in this book, she goes back in time to about 1972 when she was fobbed off to family members as a young 12-year-old girl, and it's how all those memories kind of bring the story together. So it's all these distracted memories coming together to form a temporal storyline, which is really, really interesting. So I would, because The Memory Police I found utterly gripping and a real page turner, I highly recommend Mina's Matchbox by Yoko Ogawa. Now, the final book is Hum by Helen Philips. Now, Hum is a dystopian tale, and it's got that simple narrative that it kind of sneaks up on you in the sense that you don't know you're not sure what you're reading, and then suddenly it's about everything that we think about today, that how governments can control us, how media and propaganda can force a mindset. And through this, the character basically is a mother, she's a wife, and basically it's dealing with technological advancement beyond the scope of the human experience. And who knows, with AI coming out, what is the, no one can really foretell. They can say all the bad stories, they can give you all the scary stories of a possible future, but I guess essentially people are still human beings. People still need connection. People still want to be mothers, fathers, brothers, friends, lovers. They still require that in order to get through life. So I just think that Hum is probably number 2. Worst case scenario, number 1. By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult, number 4, and Lady Macbeth, number 5. So those 5 books are coming out or will be out by the end of August 2024. So please go and check them out. It gives you an idea of what is coming up and how you can improve or you can encourage someone to read, in the sense that they want to read, but they don't know what to read. Here are 5 books that I think you can choose, that you can be confident enough to say that at least 1 or 2 of them is going to be something that someone that you know or yourself will enjoy to read. All right, so just to let you know, I think I'm up to volume 4 of Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. This has been an amazing. So it's number 4. What down here? Sorry. The Glass, The Wizard and the Glass. And again, the reason it's taken me so long to read these is I think there's 7 novels in the series. The reason I'm not a big fantasy reader, but these books are sort of less fantasy, more science fiction, fantasy as well. But there is a whole element of science fiction in these. This is the 4th book, and they're quite gripping. The story's great. I mean, it's 7 novels, so this is really important for me to finish, and I'm glad I decided to finally take the risk and read it. So that's The Dark Tower by Stephen King. All right, so thanks for joining us, and remember, read because it's fun. Encourage your friends, your children, your mates, your lovers, your wives, your husbands to read, and watch how someone can find a book and enjoy just the pleasure of having an hour or 2 on your own, just sitting down and reading without a flashing screen, without someone to disturb you. Just try it. I'm positive that reading is still going to be a juggernaut of culture for the future. All right, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next episode, and hopefully my mouth is improved. And enjoy reading. Bye.